From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
So, Miss Vicki.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when we were watching those WRL events and some of those Grid Life events where you used to see the in-car video and it had like the cameras seeing front and back, but it also could see all the telemetry and everything that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the ones that we liked were taken by the Sentinel system. Remember James came on our podcast earlier?
Right.
You know, we have no excuse since he lent us one for trial and demonstration purposes. We should actually probably put that in one of our cars. Maybe two.
I really think we should.
I think we should.
I know.
Because then we'd look like the immature endurance racing team that we are. Oh, wait, I mispronounced that, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. We could
So what does the
have,
Sentinel system do?
we could have 3 cameras with picture-in-picture. We could have, if we ever get the AIM system to work, open invitation to anybody from AIM to come on and give us a little bit of love. We need some help. And then we could have all our telemetry on there. And then we can have it streamed live into the paddock or around the world to our millions of fans. We're apparently very popular in Kenya right now. Don't know why, but that's fine. And it can integrate all the available race statistics from like Race Hero and everything. So we could actually see how we're doing on video. We wouldn't even have to carry around our phone anymore. Live.
I love it.
Dominating with Dawson.
Miss Vicki,
Yes.
one of your favorites is here.
I know.
Ben Dawson.
Hey.
Hi.
Of the Dominating with Dawson variety.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are-
Absolutely real. Proven to be real.
That's right.
Yep. And he's
He's-
not 4 feet tall.
Not 4 feet tall. It is not.
Nope.
That's so funny.
That's right. So, Mr. Dawson, this Dominating with Dawson is going to come out plus or minus. I may or may not be on the One Lap of America when this one pops out.
Okay.
So, you know, since we have a podcast and you know, most of the listeners have last names that sound like all the hosts of my guest. What we're going to be going out, and for everybody who doesn't know what One Lap of America is, we travel in between racetracks, and every day or twice a day we'll hit a different track and we'll go race on it. We have no warm-up laps.
So cool.
We just race. So some of us on the One Lap of America will have been to the racetrack before, and some of us won't. And I looked at the list, and I think I have been on 2 of them this season. When there's 10, that's not a good percentage. So even in baseball, I wouldn't be making a lot of money. But maybe we should talk about what it means to learn a track and how best to learn a track. And ideally, if we can do this in time for the One Lap of America, how to do it as quickly as possible.
Vicki, what do you do when you're new to a course that you haven't been to?
I talked to Bill.
I know. Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
I really don't. I go out and I test it and I just learn. Well, you know, okay, granted, I have been really lazy when it comes to improving. I really have, because you know, for a long time, I really didn't have the confidence in my own driving. I just wanted to go and have a good time, test a track.
Sure.
I really never went out and pushed myself until recently.
Good.
I really want to start doing things. So we are now that we moved, we're still this spring working
I
on
think
trying
we're still
to.
moving, but that's just
We
me.
are still moving. We are
It's
still
only been
moving.
a year and a half, but we're still
Yeah.
moving.
Not quite. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, getting I've never really been that successful with iRacing, although I really need to iRace and make a comfortable space for iRacing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I haven't.
What
I really haven't.
what could future Vicky do? How about that?
What could future Vicky do?
Future Vicky, because past Vicky's been lazy, and every
I
time I said you
have
should do
been.
this, you said I just want to go and have fun.
Yeah.
I don't want it
That's
to be
past
work.
Vicky.
Yeah, that's
Vicky.
possible. Current Vicky really needs to probably study the track map and just take some, tips, maybe watch some video, which would be good on the track map, and have people that have actually driven it before kind of explain it out. That's a good way of doing it.
Mhm.
And having a track map available when I'm on track is huge. So you know what you're doing on the track and where those notes you can make notes as you're driving on it would be kind of huge, because I have a Gingerman have gone out and gotten lost on the track because it was a brand new track at an HPD. I wasn't racing it, but it was an HPDE that we had done. We had done an HPDE. I took a try and I couldn't get the map right. I kept thinking I was in a different turn when I wasn't in that turn, but that was early on.
Gotcha.
So that's what I would say. And then iRacing, we're still working on our iRacing room in our man cave. We're still working our way to emptying out the garage from our move last year.
Right.
It's tough.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I gotta say, I think from the one side of things, it sounds like Bill would like to throw shade on you for just being somebody who wanted to just show up and be present and enjoy the track when he got there. I
Right.
think there's room for that. If you get value from going and
Bill's
doing it
very
that way,
competitive.
I know. So am I. So I'm just trying to see things from your side of the fence, and also understand that, hey, if this is the thing you want to do with the time you get on track and you're enjoying it, that's fine. I read that book, The Secret Garden, for school when I was a kid, and there was about a family that didn't have any money, and like they got a treat like every weekend or something like that. They would each get one cup of coffee. All the kids, the adults, everybody would have one cup of coffee. One girl just wanted to smell the coffee. She didn't drink it. She just smelled it and she tossed it down the sink because she didn't want to drink it. And all the other kids would get mad, like, whoa, don't throw that out. And then the mom or dad was like, whoa, that's Josie's coffee. She can do whatever she wants to with it. And that's the way I feel about how you treated Track Time in the past. It's like, hey, that's your cup of coffee. You paid the money to be here at this Track Time, and that's how you want to use it. That's fine. Even though I don't actually drink any coffee and never have, I drink my cup of coffee. I want the whole thing. I want to get there and do the whole thing and be competitive. And I'm competitive like Bill is. So I want to get there on track and be blasting everybody's tits off right out the gate.
Right.
my own, everybody else's. So I want to hit the ground running. So I want to know the track and be as competitive on it as possible from the first time I roll out of pit lane, which for me involves, back in the day when I was better at all this stuff, would involve sitting down there trying to run whatever configuration of the track I'm going to on iRacing. I'm trying to make sure I knew from the organizers, are you running north course, south course, dong course? What do know what track configuration you're going to, because it may not just be, hey, we're racing New Jersey. I think New Jersey has a few, or we're going to go race Summit. Like these different tracks that have different configurations that are frequently used. You want to make sure you're learning the right configuration. But I want to go ahead and do that track on sim as much as I can, especially if I've never been there and I'm going to go right into a race, which has happened to me a few times, which is great. But also I want to be out there just going hard right out of the gate. So I do it in sims. I want to watch a bunch of video from credible, good drivers and similar equipment to what I'm going to be racing. So I want to see how, if I'm taking my Miata somewhere, I want to go watch a bunch of spec Miata guys do the track and make sure I understand the way they're taking the track, is going to be pretty similar to mine. Or if I've got maybe an E46, might be good to go watch a spec E46 race from the track where you're headed, stuff like that. Just so, and also don't watch some hack. Like, go look up who won the race in your NASA region or whatever the last few times of that track, and go find them on YouTube. I'm sure they're out there. You know what I mean? Like, these people all have their own YouTube channel and stuff like that. I do. So go find these few people who are doing it well and equipment that's similar to what you're going to be taking to the track. Watch them do it, so you got a pretty good idea where am I braking, where are they shifting, that kind of thing. Should be comparable to what you bring in.
One thing I like is when the video has an outline of the track, just so I can orient myself better, as opposed to, oh, it's a left turn. You know, is it the left turn leading to the front straight, or is it the left turn leading to a hairpin, or is it the left turn leading to a bunch of S's? And
Yeah.
sometimes if you haven't been there, you get lost. Like, not lost like I don't know where I'm going, which direction should I be on the track, but lost is where you think a left turn is coming and it's a right turn coming in, and you're like, oh my God, where am I? So
Yeah.
You're right. Right. Yeah. And try to, hopefully you can be self-actualized enough to cater to what style of learning works best for you.
Hmm.
It sounds like for Bill, it might be having you might want to have a copy of the track map printed up in your hand as you're watching this, and they have the track
I do.
map up on there. So like for me, I'm not a big visual reference guy, but if you're a visual reference person, you can start kind of throwing those together when you're watching a video. It's like, oh, this guy's breaking right about here,
Mhm.
and that kind of help you get a good lay of the land before you get there. So, I mean, to me, those are the two real big things for showing up and learning a new track is it's kind of getting used to, like, usually for me, step one is just glancing at the track map and like, oh, this is probably this is probably that. But I mean, immediately you want to get deeper and deeper and deeper and start trying to practice it as close to real life as you can, which for me is the best sim you can get your hands on and watching video. I mean, I even without a sim, I can get a lot done just watching a video as far as learning the track, figuring out where the flow
Hmm.
is, where it's going, what's going to be weird in traffic. You kind of I'm watching the track. Usually, if I'm watching a video, I'm projecting myself into it and kind of projecting what kind of traffic I'm expecting into it. So, kind of trying to prepare myself, even if I'm watching video that doesn't involve a lot of traffic. I'll be trying to picture more race conditions around it as I'm kind of watching and learning the track. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
Like what's it gonna be like to race on this? Yeah, that kind of deal.
Yeah. So what I do is probably not recommended for many, but I'll let you know. So I do a lot of car driving, car repairing, car fixing, car modification, surfing on YouTube. And when I come across a good track lap or a good video about a certain track, I save it as a playlist so I don't have to go
Mm,
find it. So, like, I have playlists for one playlist for tracks, and it may be a track I've never been to. So when I do go to Hallett or when I do go to Thunderhill East or whatever, and I've never been there yet, I'll already have selected a video, hopefully, maybe.
gotcha.
And then what I also like is we've talked about Ross Bentley and Peter Krause's track walks. Those things are like 2-3 hours each for each track, and they have tremendous amount of detail. So what I do is I get a track map, and then I start writing little notes on it as I'm watching the videos. It could be the one where the guy just driving around, or it could be with Ross and
Right.
Peter, or whatever I do, and then I translate those track map notes into an Excel file that I have that I share with our team whenever we go to a race. And what I do is I'll actually write down all the details that I have just so I have them, but I don't actually use them. And the one thing that I do is a little weird, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's helpful is I make special attention to the 3 turns that have the biggest impact in speed or lap time and
Right.
3 turns that have the biggest impact in potential safety.
Okay.
So I know where I need to be conscious of making sure I get through there in the right way to get the fastest lap time. And I also know which turns I have to be cautious of, especially when I'm racing, not just doing time trial or an HPDE, but when I'm racing, let's not try and pass somebody on the outside of turn 12 at Road Atlanta. Not a good plan.
Right. Right.
So I kind of take a little bit of the hesitation away because I know, oh, this turn coming up here, I've got lots of runoff room.
Right.
If something goes wild, we're still cool. But this one I'm coming
I
up
hear you.
on is a mess, and I don't push it
I,
there.
Hmm.
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. So every month I'm in charge of doing inventory at my place, and you're kind of doing what I call like a pre-count. Like, oh, I counted this last month, and I'm for sure that's still the same because I haven't shipped any of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're knocking some stuff out that you don't have to. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and sort this out. I don't have to think about this when the choice comes up. Do I pass here? Nope. That's the place where I told myself that I'm only gonna try to pass because you've already made some preset decisions.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea for people who have brains that they kind of work in a needing to categorize things way. That's important. That's a very good tip.
Even if you just know hey, this is a turn with it's got a high potential for a high impact
Yeah.
with me, a car, or a wall, or whatever. Maybe that's a turn where I prioritize setting up for the next turn, but this isn't the one where I'm going to go for it.
Mhm.
I'm not making my mortgage. Let's be fair. You've seen me race. I'm not making any mortgages, but it just takes that little bit of caution, like Gingerman. There's I rank the 3 turns where I can get into trouble. Gingerman has 1 turn. That's it. The rest of the track, I know I can push it there. And if the worst comes to worst, I'm going to cut some grass. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Mhm.
But
Right.
that 1 turn, okay, I'm not going to swing it there because I've got
Is that the
11 turns.
double?
No,
Is that the double apex?
no, the turn 12, the last one coming onto the front straightaway.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a wall there. And it's the only,
Yeah.
and you got to really try to get to it. But, I've got 11 out of 12 turns. There's nothing. So why am I going to kill myself on that one?
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of times those sections that are kind of fraught with danger or potential trouble, everybody's gonna take it a little bit easier through there. So even though you're choosing not to pull a move there, you can be pulling up on somebody pretty hard. And also, if you kind of know that's a section where you're not necessarily going to try anything crazy and you're working your way up to somebody, I can kind of pace myself sometimes to go, hey, I ain't got to go crazy through here because I know I'm gonna be right up on this person at the place where I want to do the move. So sometimes having that section also gives you a little bit of a breather because hey, I'm not going to try anything crazy here, and neither are they. I'm just going to be sucking up to them because they suck worse at this than I do. So this is a section where everybody's scared of it. Everybody's kind of backing off. So nobody necessarily has to be a hero, but it can also be a time for you just to kind of either time the way you want to make your move a little bit better, or it's just a good time to take it a little bit easy.
But if you think about it, it's kind of a risk and reward thing. Like, what if I have a turn that, let's say there's 10 turns on a track. I'm just picking a random track, not a track, real. And this is the 10th most important turn for my speed. And it's a number 1 turn for danger. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to kill yourself to get through there on that turn. It's like I've got 9 other ones that are more impactful on my speed and less risky. So you just if you pre-think about it, you can kind of already have, above learning the track, you have a racecraft strategy kind of beginning to form, even if you've never been there.
Right.
So.
Yeah. That's a good point. You gotta weigh whether this thing is worth doing or not, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the first lap doesn't matter.
You can't
as much
be very
as the last
quick
lap.
to run out of skill and then not bring your car back.
You can get overdraw. You can overdraw that balance very quickly if you're not kind of on the ball. That's important.
Or let somebody else do it for themselves, and then you just drive by and, like Vicki, and cackle the whole way.
That's right.
I'm just doing my best.
That's right.
Yeah. When I raced that car out west in Las Vegas in the middle of the night with Kathy when she was still a chump car, and the Volvo. I was racing this Volvo wagon, and I think we had a 4-lap lead on the whole field at this point. And I'm near the end of my first stint. The transmission leaves the car.
No way.
Departed this plane. I'm like, what the hell? I went to go grab a downshift, and the shifter flew out of my hand and went across the car. Like, well, that's weird. And then I see the
How
track.
does that happen?
Anyway, I'll just say,
I put it together.
Nobody likes getting their doors blown off by a Volvo 740 on a super speedway NASCAR track. No. So people were rolling by me, beeping. This is back when a lot of race cars still had a horn or something. People were riding by, beeping the horn, waving at me like, ah! I mean, I had been blowing their doors off with a Volvo wagon that clearly would not turn. So nobody was wild about that. So yes, people, yeah, and I was fully behind them shit talking me as I sat there waiting for the NASCAR crew to come pull me off of Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Oh, God.
I deserved it.
How do you lose a whole transmission? I mean,
well,
geez, will the bolts fall off or something?
I didn't build that car. I can't really speak to that. But it was a fun car until it wasn't.
It was fun till it wasn't.
So there, we may have a listener out there who's not good at learning a new track, or maybe has never learned a new track. They drive their track
Oh yeah, I should say that was a track I had never been to before that night when the race started at 8 o'clock, and I couldn't piece the whole configuration together on iRacing, so I'd had to use pieces and parts of other little configurations. But I showed up at that track, and by the time the car broke, we were 4 laps ahead, and I had never been there before. So listen to what I'm saying, and you might do okay.
Okay. But what if you're not good at it?
Uh-huh.
Any tips we could give to them? Because I have one that comes to mind really fast.
I can't imagine not being good at this, so it's hard for me to project that level. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
some of us have these problems, Ben. You know, I can't imagine being slow like you two. So what do?
No, let me hear your tip because I think I've said the things that work best for me, so I want to hear what you got.
Miss Vicki, anything?
I want to hear yours.
No. Go autocross.
What was that?
Go autocross.
Oh, I thought you said no autocross. I was like,
No,
well, I
go.
agree with that for sure.
Well, no, that's a different agreement, Ben. But if you go to autocross, you almost never do the same track
Right.
twice.
Yeah.
And you only get to
because
walk it, and then you got to go.
Oh, yeah.
And it will force you to learn tracks or maybe recognize things on tracks a
Yeah.
little better.
I will say I hate autocross, not because I'm not good at it. No other reason than I'm just an egotistical jerk and I'm not good at something. I want to not do it. But the year I made myself do autocross, I was always there early just to give me as many potential track walks as I could. Because I'm like, I am learning this course because I wanted to get out there and hammer it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I was Mr. Track Walk. I was like, let me get out here and walk this course as many times as I can, even though I did not want to be doing autocross at that moment. It was the right way to go out and learn it. And I was obsessive about it. I'll take any chance you can get. Yeah, that's a great point. You go do autocross and make that your thing for a year, or however long you want to. But like, I
Yeah.
made myself go do autocross. I don't know that everybody's going to sentence themselves to that, but I did because I needed to learn. I needed to have a good transition from karting to full size cars and feeling what they felt like really at the limit. So I made myself do autocross, and you're right. I didn't see the benefit at the time, but it really helped me see the value of learning a course because I was like, I'm not going to get out here and just kind of wing it out. I'm going to walk this thing as many times as I can. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Vicky's
like
going. Sorry.
no, I enjoy the HPDEs or Track Day in Americas. You
Yeah,
know,
track nights.
the
Yeah.
evenings that you can kind of get out there and just kind of work on track. I like the idea what Bill says about autocross because it certainly does teach you how to maneuver your car in a small space very quickly.
Yep.
Around the course. The only
A lot of
drawback
quick
that
moves.
the only drawback I don't like about autocross is just, I mean, it definitely has its benefits. It's just a lot of standing around.
Full
You
of
know,
autocrossers.
yeah, it's like you get a couple seconds on track and then,
Yeah.
yes.
But allow me to bring up a point that you're not remembering. We've
Okay.
never done an autocross. We've only done autocross training.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, y'all got trained to do something like that and then didn't do it.
Yeah.
I thought it was autocross. I didn't know it was autocross training.
No.
I was like, there's a whole lot of standing around.
No,
A lot of standing around.
I thought you had done an autocross because you described it perfectly. That's what it is. You drive for somewhere between 30 and 90 seconds and you stand around. You might drive 4 times a day in short little bursts, but most of it is standing around picking up cones and BSing with somebody
Yeah.
like 30 feet
Yeah.
away from you.
Yeah.
We did that too, except that the autocrosses that I'm aware of that are local to us, they're like 3, 4, or 5 hour days. This was like an 8 or 9 hour day, so
Mhm.
it was fun though. But I think the thing that Miss Vicky will get out of autocross this year, because we're going to do a few, is
Yeah.
she will. This is a prediction. She will feel more comfortable going 11 out of 10
Mhm.
on an autocross than she does on track. So maybe she'll just get used to it a little bit more and push a little bit
Mhm.
harder. You know what? You know what else? Back to what we're actually talking about with Dominic Dawson this week.
Awesome.
You know what else is a great way to learn tracks?
What's that?
Go to more tracks. Because
Go
the
to
more
more
tracks you go
You know
to,
what? It's seat time, guys. It's
learn.
just seat time.
But if you only drive one track, like if you could be like, let's say Ben goes to VIR, but he's only been to VIR. He's going to be
Right.
really good at VIR.
He
but
is going to be really good at BI.
But he's not going to be great at the other tracks. Whereas if Ben went to VIR and CMP, and eventually you just get used to like, oh, this turns just like
Yeah.
CMP turn 6, and this turns just like Gingerman turn 5, and eventually you've seen almost all the turns, and you don't have to
You're
learn
right.
so much.
it's nice. It's nice to kind of build a kind of a cross reference where you're kind of always bouncing this thing off this other thing and building more and more context for yourself. Definitely, yeah, it helps me a lot. I don't always think about that, but that's a good point.
So go to more tracks. You'll learn more tracks, and you'll learn tracks faster.
Yes.
And I'm sure we skipped something, but that's okay. That's why we do Dominating Dawson Part 1. And our listeners tell us what we missed, and then we do Part 2.
That's right. Listener, let us hear from you. How do you learn new tracks? What's your big secret? How have you figured out how to show up at a racetrack the first time and blast everybody's nips off?
Could be simple like a track walk. Who knows? We missed a lot of stuff. I'm sure we always. It's tough to host a podcast, listen to the podcast, interact on the podcast, and think at the same time.
I don't think at all. So I'm not worried about that. It's true though. I'll say this too. I didn't think about this until just now, but there have been several times where I've been to a course that I've been to or haven't been to, and the whole endurance team gets a chance to go out and walk it. That is worth doing. Sometimes it seems to me like a waste of time, but like I've been to CMP a couple of times with people who haven't, and had a chance to go out and walk the course. And go, all right, here's what we're really doing here, here, and here. It seems crazy, but you're doing actually this here. You know what I mean? And you kind of break it down for people, and you get a chance to kind of say, well, everybody walk over here. Right here, 3 feet away from this curb is where I exit blah, blah, blah turn. And I'm looking down here and this is what I'm trying to pick up. And I'm on the gas and then I'm not, like you're talking to people about what you're doing as you're actually standing there. I think it helps people put the frame of reference together pretty well.
And you notice little hills or little cambers that you just, you don't see because you're going by, hopefully at a high rate of speed. Some of us not as high, but sometimes high. And you just realize like, oh my God, this is uphill braking zone. I have been thinking it was dead flat.
So, and that's an important realization because of why? Why would that be important to kind of pick up on?
You get a little more brake and bite than you do on a downhill and or flat.
Yeah, so if I'm walking through there and I realize like, oh crap, this is pretty uphill, and I didn't pick up on that, I'd be like, I'm going to try a little bit deeper braking point. Not crazy, but I'm going to walk my brakes up a little further and see if I can get away with less dwell time on the brakes.
Did you do Mid Ohio yet, Ben?
I haven't. Love to someday. I'm sure I will.
Well, we'll drag you out there. We'll enter a race just to bring you up there. But I did a track walk there, and I realized that why Madness was driving me crazy.
Yes.
Why?
Because Madness, the turn itself, the inside, actually the entire turn is pitched just like a side road. The inside is positive camber. The outside is negative camber. So if you roll over the top about halfway across Madness, you are now negative camber and you are going into the grass if you keep accelerating.
Oh, wow.
So, the inside line, unless there's a serious reason, is much better than the outside line.
Well, that's great. You've just sent me down a huge rabbit hole of watching old YouTube SCCA runoffs videos because they used to do some real good runoffs at the Mid Ohio. Yeah, I mean, now I'm gonna be watching that. I'm doing every class from H Pride to GT1. I gotta see them all now.
There you go. Well, and that's your homework for tonight, Ben.
Yep.
Well, that's great. I've still got to do dishes and full load of laundry, so I got plenty to do now.
Just put the phone in landscape behind the sink and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
As if I don't know that, Billiam.
This is true. Ben Dawson, always fast to finish. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.